Alright, so I want to show you guys how to make 3D flight plans so that way you can go out and fly them on your own. So you're going to need two pieces of software, the first of which is Google Earth Pro, and I'm going to leave a link right down there in the description. So you guys can go ahead and download that at your convenience, and I'll give you a sec to go ahead and do that. Go ahead and pause the video and come back. We'll go ahead with step 2. Alright, so step 2 is basically navigate to the spot you want to take off from. So I've already done that, but basically you can use whatever you'd like, the search function, you can navigate manually around, but I've already navigated to the location that I need to take off from. But once you've done that, you're kind of oriented, you can start to build your flight plan, your takeoff location, your points of interest. You can go from there, but you basically need a basis from which to take off from. Okay, so our next step is basically just insert a point. One point of advice that I would give you guys is make sure that there's nothing between where you're taking off from and where your flight path is going to start. Usually I like to be sort of directly under the first point, as close as I can, so that way it can't move laterally and hit something accidentally. So what we're going to do is go up to the point add place mark feature here, and basically we can drag this around. One point of advice is you can hit the shift key, and that will basically allow you to sort of reorient yourself kind of on like a ball-like function. And basically what we can do here is sort of build our takeoff location. So what I'm going to do here is zoom in. Let's say I want to take off from this beach, but I'm going to give myself a little clearance because I'm going to actually take off from the beach, but I'm going to make my first point kind of a little over the water there. And then another point of advice, you can go relative to ground, so we can go 100 meters. No, let's not go that high. Let's go 65 meters. And another point of advice, every time you put in extend to ground, it's usually going to reset your height, so go ahead and put in 65 again, or whatever height you'd like. And you can do relative to ground, or you can do, what we can do is we can copy this point. And another point of advice, if you hit Command I, that'll basically allow you to then, sort of reposition your point. See, now if we do 65 relative to ground, that'll be directly above here, directly above that point right here. Or we can do, one thing we can do is we can do absolute, so that'll be relative to the takeoff location. So that way, if we do 65 for both of these, for example, then we automatically have 2 points on a level plane. We don't have to worry about them sort of being at a slant. All right, so next step, we're gonna use the ruler tool. So we're gonna go up here, and before we actually do this, what I'm gonna do is delete this point here, because I don't need that. I was just using that for reference. And I'm just gonna rename this start. And that way, basically what we're going to do is start and finish on the same point. So it's at least a cycle. That way, I know where it's going to end. I usually like to build flight plans that are a circle, and then that way, you can just be at a single point. You don't have to worry about navigating back from that point. So I'm just going to have the same start and end point. And now we can go to the ruler tool. And what I'm going to do here is just build a circle around this bridge here. So what I'm going to do is click there, and I'm going to go over the path tool first, and then I'll do the circle. That's really what I want to build, but I'm going to do both here. That would be like point A here on the left, or on the right, and then it would go to the second point here. Let's just say for a third point, we'll just go here. And I'm gonna hit save. And then altitude, absolute, we'll keep it equal to 65 meters. Extend path to ground, as I said, it'll usually wipe whatever you had there. But anyway, so now we have 65 meters. And so when you do extend path to ground, basically what it'll do is create these lines between the point here and the ground. So you can kind of see what it's directly above, which is sometimes very important in terms of referencing three-dimensional space. So basically what we're going to do here is I'm going to drag this up and put it between the start and the finish. And then that would basically, if that'll allow me to drop it there. So if I were to just save it as that, it would basically, the start would be the first point, it would then go to 1, 2 over here, 3 here, and then return to the finish point there. Simple. Now, let's say I don't want a path though, I want a circle. So what I'm going to do here is go back up to the ruler tool, hit circle, and what it's going to do is you're going to hit the middle, and I'm just going to extend it out. And where the line meets on the right here, where it meets the circle, that is going to be your start and end point of the circle. So I'm going to drop this here, and just like the path, I'm going to hit save, and then I'm going to go altitude, absolute, and just for reference on this one, I'm not going to hit extended ground, just so you can kind of see. It's kind of just like a halo. So it doesn't necessarily say what it's directly above. I mean, you can kind of imagine it here, but that way you could at least have the line so you can make sure that it doesn't intersect with any obstacles, which is really important. So basically this would start here at the start, go over to the ring where the line was above the road here, it'll do a 360 and then come back to right here. Alright, so one more step in Google Earth Pro before we go any further, and that is making a focus point. So what we're going to do is, just make one point here, and just see, I'm just going to play with the altitude. Yeah, I'll just make it ground level. And then I'm going to save that one separately. So basically, I'm going to just use this as a focus point, and that'll make sense later in the video, so just keep watching. But anyway, now that we've done that, we basically have a flight path and we have a focus point. So those are really the two important features. So what I'm going to do here is save place as, and these are all the missions I already made. And I'm going to save this as bridge circle. It's really generic. And then I'm going to save it as a KML. That's really important. You need to save it as a KML file, and then I'm going to hit save. And then I'm also going to save this, save place as just this place mark, and I'm going to save it as bridge circle POI, or point of interest. And I'm going to save that, and now we can go over to the Litchi side of things. So let's go ahead and do that. So we're going to go over to the Litchi Mission Hub. So you're going to have to download the Litchi app for either Android or iPhone, iOS. It's between $20 and $25, but it's well worth it. And you can use it on multiple devices. I have it on my phone, I have it on my iPad, so that's been great. But anyway, now what we need to do is, first of all, you need to make an account on their site and install the app and what have you. But now we need to go in to their online mission hub. So, and once you've done that, go down to missions here, import, and bridge circle, open, import to new mission, and bang, perfect. So one problem, all of these are kind of pointed directly north, and that's not really what I want. What I want to do is use the point of interest. So what I'm going to do is open a separate window here, and I'm going to go back to import, and this is where we're going to use that POI, point of interest. So bridge circle POI, import to new mission, but we're not going to use this. What we're going to do is just take this latitude and longitude information here, and we can just close out of that. We don't need that anymore. And notice how when I put in that focus point, all of the other points then reoriented themselves. That'll happen automatically. And it's really convenient when you have a flight plan with only one point, because it'll just automatically focus all of the flight points on the point you've selected. So what I'm going to do here is just put in 0 for the height, So we now have a mission here. And see this 0.75 here? That's the same as the 0.1. So that's basically the start and end point that we had put in before are basically points 1 and 75. So the other 73 points are around the circle, and it just created those all automatically, which was great. Although it does seem that none of them are on Focus POI, so we may have to fix that in the app. It's not a huge deal. Let me just see here. I believe there is batch edit in here somewhere. Oh yeah, Focus POI. Yeah, and usually I have default curve size at 100. And you know what? We're just gonna max speed for this. And yeah, and then it's just gonna go back to 1. Keep it on metric. Yep. And if you want to screenshot these settings, you're welcome to. I'd recommend maybe when you're starting out going with slower speeds. That way, you know, if you calculated wrong, you might be able to know this before you run into something. But I really think that building flight plans this way is great because you can avoid obstacles well beforehand and sort of calculate around them. So anyway, we're gonna go ahead and hit close, and then we're gonna go up here and hit save. All right, so I'm gonna have to log in here. All right, and then we're gonna go hit save, and then I'm gonna just name it bridge circle. Please ignore the sirens outside. And all right, so now we have this all set up. And just an added bonus, what we're gonna do is take this back to Google Earth and just check it. So what we're gonna do is hit export as KML path, and then I'm just gonna name this bridge circle test. And that's all done. And I'm gonna double click here. And then, as you can see here, this is our original. The red is the original one we had made, and then the yellow one here, I'm just gonna close out everything I had before. This yellow is what we just exported, so that's what it would actually fly. So you can see here how it connects the circle to the start and the end point there. And just to reference here as well, that's that point right there, that's the Focus POI. So it's basically going to be focused on the bridge as it does the 360. So anyway, let's go fly it. That's the fun part. So let's go out and do it. And I'm just going to open up Litchi. And now I'm going to go to up at the top. Usually it'll be on first person view by default. So then you're just going to go up to waypoint and then load, and then bridge circle right there. And then there we are. That's everything we need to, all we need to do at that point is basically take off, navigate to the first point, and hit play. So let's go do that.